Welcome to the Alltech Radio Show podcast. I'm your host, Professor Robert McMillan, with my co-host Scott Portinga, who is the technologist extraordinaire. Welcome,
Yeah, well,
Scott.
thank you. I'll have to put that on my business card.
There you go. Yeah, that's not a bad title, I would think. Well, it has been an interesting couple of weeks, but I don't know if you realize this, but Prime Days start now. If you're interested in getting whatever's left over at Amazon that hasn't sold for the last 6 months,
Yep.
have you
Well,
checked out?
sometimes, if it's stuff you need anyway, it's a good time to get it.
It is, we're going to talk a little bit more about this later, but um, what's disappointing is, like I built a computer for my sister, a year ago Christmas, and the whole thing cost, maybe because I built it myself, maybe like $600, and
Mhm.
now it's like $1,800 for those same
Oh,
components.
I know.
Yeah,
And with the tariffs, kicking up, a lot of companies, there's some that it didn't affect quite as quickly as other ones.
yeah.
Um,
That is true. That is true. Well, in the areas of computers, we're definitely looking at high prices. But it's not just tariffs. It's also due to all the AI companies using up all the, storage, RAM, and CPUs that are out there.
oh yeah, that has really hurt. It's a good market right now for refurbished machines.
True.
I've bought some Dell i7 terabyte SSD, 32 gigs of RAM for less than $500.
Hmm. That's still a lot of money.
It is, but new at Lenovo, that'd be 1800.
Oh yeah, I hear you. I hear you. It's just so weird because I bought a Lenovo 32 gig, 1 TB, i7 Intel. It was sometime last year, and it was 699.
Yeah, excellent price.
Can't get that anymore.
No, no,
Yeah.
and those prices are never coming back.
Well, there's always a possibility of a crash. You've got all these. I know we have a good
If
hope.
we're lucky,
If we're lucky, yeah. Housing prices are going crazy, food, gas, the whole thing. If it all comes crashing down back to the way it should be, like it did in 2008, then a lot of people will
yes,
have a chance to buy in. Of course, they might not have a job, so that may not be the smartest thing to do. But
exactly.
that reminds me of when the 401k. Everyone say 401k, you got to have investment in 401k, and then you have these big downturns, and then you're cashing in your 401k at 25 cents on the dollar, and then you're
Hmm.
like, why did I spend all that money into something that completely crashed on me?
Oh yeah,
Uh,
and paying the penalty, paying that
yeah.
IRS penalty.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, paying a penalty on top of it. Yeah. Ugh. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's a fun time to be alive. One of the things that I like to make sure is that I want to have my security for whatever web browsing I do to be secure from prying eyes, government, ISPs, that kind of thing. And I saw an article today that it's called makeuseof.com, which is an interesting name for a website. Uh, and it reminded me of something that a lot of people may not be aware of, and that is you can encrypt your traffic. Now, this is even if you have a so-called public VPN, where you're trying to hide your IP address and all that kind of stuff. It
Mhm.
doesn't hide the request that you make to your domain name hosting provider. So if you go to google.com, that ties itself to an IP address. And a lot of people don't use these public VPNs. They don't want to pay the extra fees and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So this website reminded me of something that I had done, which I thought was interesting. And that is if you go into your settings in your Windows 10 or 11 computer, and then you click on the Ethernet and network section, and then you go to I'm sorry, network and internet, and then you click on Ethernet. And then once you're in Ethernet, there's this edit section. So you click on edit, and then you change your preferred DNS provider. So the DNS provider is going to resolve the names to the IP addresses. So if you put in your Amazon.com, Google, Facebook, whatever it is, it's going to resolve the name to the actual IP address location of where it is. And so instead of using the automatic one provided to you by your internet provider, change it to a very secure DNS provider called Cloudflare. So you can put in 1.1.1.1. Super easy to remember.
Hmm.
Then you have to do one more step, and that is underneath where it says preferred DNS, you have to change your or I'm sorry, to enable your DNS over HTTPS. And when you do that, you set it to what's called the automatic template. Then what it does is it sends only encrypted requests off to Cloudflare to do your name resolution for all your different websites and applications and things like that. And when it's encrypted, then nobody in the government, nobody in the internet provider will know what websites or what applications that connect to the internet, where they're going. And Cloudflare deletes their records every 24 hours. So even if somebody did make a request, it's most likely going to be way too late to get anything. So have you ever done that for yourself or for anybody else?
I've done it for clients.
Uh,
I've also used, there are some family-friendly DNS servers out there.
oh, really? Like what?
Uh, Stuff that it uh, filters out, bad stuff, porn and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, yeah, that's
Um,
great.
and what I've done that for is a lot of these apartment complexes, if they're affordable housing, they have to have, at least down in California, they're required to have machines available for people to use for like job searches, homework, and things like that.
Uh-huh.
One of the risks there is someone will get on there and do all sorts of stuff they're not supposed to do.
Uh,
So we hard code the DNS with these family-friendly servers,
uh-huh.
and so
They
that we
can't be
take care of
changed,
that
right?
issue. What's that?
They can't be changed by anybody.
Nope, nope. The standard user doesn't have the access to get in and change those DNS settings.
So these are like kiosk computers at these places that they
Kind
can.
of. They're fully functional, but yeah, they're kind of like a kiosk that somebody can sit down and work on.
Interesting. Boy, California sure has a lot of laws, don't they?
They do.
I understand they're there for protection but oof, that's a lot of laws. Um, yeah, I don't know if you remember a few months ago, but Microsoft's Copilot was not doing well with people.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen any graduation ceremonies, but as soon as anybody mentions how great artificial intelligence is, then everybody starts booing.
Hmm.
I think what's the guy who started Google? It's like Sanjay Pinta. I can't remember his name
Yeah,
exactly.
he got booed
Yeah, he
at
got
a
well.
graduation.
Everybody at Stanford just got up and walked out. And they came back for their diplomas afterwards. So Copilot was removed, well, not automatically forced installed, I should say, from Windows 11 computers when you would get a brand new computer. Now, up until a few months ago, it would be forced installed onto your computer.
Mhm.
So Microsoft said, "Hey, it's unpopular. It's not working the way we want it to." There's like six different co-pilots because there's multiple different teams working on their own individual co-pilots, and there's no, uh,
That sounds effective.
yeah, exactly. There's no continuity between all the different versions of them. So Microsoft pulled it and said we won't add. You could add it manually if you wanted to yourself. But now they're saying okay, we fixed all the problems. You're gonna love it now.
Hmm.
Try to choke on your drink there. You're gonna
Yep.
love it. So they are now once again force installing the Microsoft 365 Copilot app onto Windows 11. So they had stopped in March, and as of now, they're going to start doing it again. Now you don't have to use it. You could uninstall it if you. Well, I don't know if you can uninstall it actually, to be honest, since they're force installing it.
Well, we can disable it. We've got several clients that, every time we see it, we're supposed to get rid of it.
Oh, really? Wow,
Oh
that's
yeah.
interesting.
They don't want them snooping.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, I've done a lot of courses for LinkedIn Learning and Pluralsight and some of the other places. And just for fun, I opened up Copilot and I was like, hey, I wonder if anybody has done as many, tech courses on, I'm sorry, on LinkedIn Learning as I have. And so I typed in who has created the most amount of tech courses on LinkedIn Learning, and it was me.
Excellent.
Yeah, I did over 100 courses. Now, it could only find about 80 of them, but I just thought that was it was kind of fun that Copilot said, well, it's true, but Copilot said that. Now, I haven't done one for them in about a year because LinkedIn Learning decided about a year ago that they were going to focus on artificial intelligence only courses. Which, I told him, I said, this is a bad idea.
Mhm.
It's fine to have courses that incorporate artificial intelligence, but not, but don't stop making new courses to only create AI courses. This is
Yeah.
not going to go well. So I was looking at, I have a couple of different sites that measure traffic, how much traffic is going to various different, sites, that I have or that are publicly available, that kind of stuff. And LinkedIn Learning has taken a nosedive in the amount of people visiting it ever
Wow.
since they decided to go to all AI courses. Well, now LinkedIn Learning is finally, seeing the error of their ways, and they're like, okay, we're going to start, taking courses, but we fired everybody. I mean, there's almost nobody left at LinkedIn Learning to produce the courses, edit the courses, do all the different things that they would normally do. And so they are now saying, okay, we're going to make it so you creators like myself can come back and create new courses for us, but you're going to have to do all the editing and everything else.
Because we fired everybody and they don't want to work for us again.
Exactly. They've moved on.
Fool me once, shame on me.
Exactly. So I'm supposed to have a meeting with them in a couple of weeks to discuss, what kind of courses. But anyway, I thought that that was kind of an interesting thing, and I'm glad to see that they are finally realizing that that was a mistake. They brought in some new person, and it didn't go well.
Yeah.
But these people they get out of college or somebody's nephew or niece, and they come in, like, I got an idea. Let's destroy a
Hmm.
multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Kind of
So.
like when they changed leadership at CVS, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of people that, boy, you just scratch your head, and it's not going to go well. Oh man, and one of the biggest things is that all this private equity buying up various different businesses. Like I was reading about Wendy's, hamburgers. Private equity bought them up, and now everybody's just trashing them for the quality of the food and everything else.
Hmm.
So it's only a matter of time between Chick-fil-A gets bought out and then they ruin that one too, I guess.
Oh, do you hear the deal they offered this last weekend?
No.
Free Father's Day chicken sandwiches on
Oh,
Sunday.
oh, you have to prove you're a
They're not
father.
open
What do
on
you got to do for
Sunday.
a birth certificate or something?
No, they're not open on Sunday.
Oh, you got me. Yeah, totally forgot about that. We got our first In-N-Out burger. Now, I haven't been there, but here the average wait time is 45 minutes for a hamburger. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
I had one down in Grants Pass.
Yeah.
It was okay.
It
I
was a
mean, it's
hamburger,
not, yeah,
right?
it's a hamburger and it's a good hamburger.
It is.
But to wait that long for it, yeah, no, it's
No.
not that good.
No, I've had them in California before, and just because it was convenient, and
Hmm.
they didn't have the long lines they have here, but
Yeah,
and I was like, why is everybody so crazy? It's just a hamburger. I don't get
yeah.
it, but whatever. So. Other interesting things going out here is that Microsoft says the Windows 11 26H2 is coming. So 2020,
Oh,
yeah, 2026 is was what the 26 stands for, and H2 is like the second quarter. So April, May, June, that version of Windows 11 is coming out. Now, they always come up with a bunch of new features. They fix a bunch of problems. But what's super interesting about this is that they're coming out with updates that don't require a reboot or don't require a hard reboot.
hmm.
So you would get there's two different kinds of reboots. A lot of people don't even realize this. One type of reboot is where the computer actually shuts off for like a second, and then it does a full restart. That's the kind that we've traditionally been familiar
Hmm.
with in most versions of Windows over the decades. But now they have another type of reboot, which does like what's kind of a soft reboot. It's much faster. Not everything, completely restarts, and it relaunches all the applications that were recently opened. So
Is that kind of
this
like when it restarts Explorer.exe?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is kind of like that.
Yeah.
Anytime, well, in older versions, what Scott's referring to is in older versions, Explorer would freeze up, and then you would have to, go to the task manager or to
Yeah.
command prompt somehow and restart Explorer.exe in order to get things going. It is sort of like that, yeah. And so it's not a full reboot. And so this latest update is going to cause your future updates to do these soft reboots so they don't take forever. Microsoft hasn't figured out a way to do what's called hot. I think they call it hot updates or something like that, where they won't reboot at all in your standard Windows 11 computer. Now, in Windows servers, hot patching, that's what it's called. Now, in
Yeah.
Windows servers, what's really interesting is you can pay extra for hot patching, where you never really have to reboot except for maybe once every couple of years. But it's an extra fee for that. Microsoft says, hey, if you don't want to have to reboot your servers, you're going to have to pay for it, which
We
is
put a
really
lot of hard work into this. We're going to charge you extra.
exactly. It's kind of a weird thing to charge for, but yeah,
It is.
hot patching is a thing out there.
Oh, you want convenience? Yeah, that's going to cost you.
Yeah, exactly. You want anything, it's going to cost you. I don't know if you have well, you don't have a Pixel phone. You're an iPhone guy, but
Yeah.
the latest update on Pixel phones is breaking the ability to use the touchscreen, which of course, your phone becomes unusable without it. So
Yeah.
if you have a Pixel phone, which is from Google, don't update it yet. It gives you the option of when you want to update. Not like Windows computers, which kind of force you into it. Yeah, don't do an update yet until you've done a little bit of looking up online, as if they've fixed the bug that keeps the touchscreen from working properly. So just a little friendly warning there, and no extra charge on that one, unlike, the rest of life.
There's a Windows 11 update that we've been avoiding for quite a while now. I think
Yeah.
it's been at least a month. That what it does is it messes with BitLocker. And
Uh,
I've seen users get prompted for a BitLocker key when they don't have BitLocker.
oh, wow.
And there's an update, and Cameron was trying to find out whether they've gotten a fix for it yet.
Yeah.
And no, they have not yet. It's still an ongoing issue.
Wow. I remember last year, a lot of people lost their hard drives because they had BitLocker, but they did not copy the key when
Hmm.
they did it. And, they're forcing BitLocker on Windows 11 now. I don't know if they did it on Windows 10, but I know they're doing it on Windows 11. And so smart sysadmins, people are, ones that had like to, make sure that if any kind of weird update happens, they don't get messed up.
Yeah.
They went ahead and incorporated it into either Active Directory or
Hmm.
Microsoft Intune in Azure or both. And so that way, when this update hit and caused these drives to get locked up, they wouldn't unlock basically when you would log into them.
Yeah.
Then you had the key to be able to unlock it. So without that, you're formatting the drive and starting over again and
Yeah.
hoping that your data was backed up at some point, someplace.
Oh yeah. It was ugly. Yeah, if you've got them attached to Azure Active Directory, then it does keep a copy of it.
Yeah. Hey, I started on a new medicine because, you and I are old. I thought it would be fun to talk about. For any of you who have asthma, like me, so when I was a little kid, I had a really bad, medicine reaction. I mean, I was 6 years old. I was really young. And then one of my lungs collapsed. And so
Oof.
it reinflated, everything's good. But then afterwards, I started developing asthma because it became super sensitive. And over the years, I've had good years, bad years. But then a couple of years ago, it collapsed again, and for a different reason. And then it reinflated, and everything's good. And the really bad asthma came back.
Yeah.
So I went to 5 different asthma doctors in the Portland area. Now I realize Portland's not Los Angeles, it's not New York, it's not Chicago.
Yeah.
It's so they don't you don't necessarily have all of the great doctors that you have in some of these different places. But I finally hit on the fifth one. I went to OHSU, and you know it took 6 months to get into OHSU's Allergy and Asthma Center.
Wow.
6 months to get an appointment. Everybody else I could get in within a week. These guys, I'm like, well, if it's 6 months, they must be good. So
Must
sure
be.
enough,
Yeah.
yeah, must be. So sure enough, I went in there, and how this ties back into technology is they have different kinds, instead of just inhalers, constantly using inhalers, they have a newer kind of technology, and you might have seen some of this on TV and stuff. It is a biologic. So the biologic basically makes it so you don't, it takes some time to get used to this, but you don't necessarily need inhalers anymore. Not
Hmm.
just rescue inhalers, but you don't need the steroid inhalers either.
Cool.
And so it's supposed to take a good, 3 or 4 months after you start your first shot before you start feeling the effects, but some people feel it a little bit earlier.
Mhm.
So, I took it was one of these ones, sort of like the GLP-1 shots, where you can do it yourself. So they sent it off to me. It's $2,500 a shot.
Whew.
So they send this to me packed in ice, the whole thing.
Mhm.
And fortunately, well, the insurance said, well, we're only going to cover $500 of it. You're up for the other 2 grand. So fortunately, if you go to the website of the place, in this case it was Tezspire, you go to the website, then they have this copay card. It ended up being $0. So they covered the
Oh,
2,000, insurance covered the 500. So it ended up being zero cost to me, which I
cool.
was shocked. I mean, I was thinking I was going to have to pay something, but
Mhm.
so I give myself the shot, and some people are saying they get bad reactions to it. I didn't actually have any reaction
Okay.
to it at all. It was bad. So a couple of days later, I go to play softball. Now, when I go play softball, I always carry my inhalers with me because the sand kicks up and it's, you
Yeah,
inhale
you
that
got the
sand and
dust and the grass and
yeah. And it
tree
turns out,
pollen,
what's that?
tree pollen.
Oh yeah. And it turns out that I'm really allergic to the mold that's on the grass.
Uh,
So which is on apparently on all grass, I guess. So I go there and I did not have an asthma attack. I was like, whoa,
wow.
it was 2 days. 2 days I didn't have an asthma attack.
Excellent.
So I haven't had an asthma attack since I gave myself it's been a week. I haven't had one since. And my wife's like, oh, maybe it's just psychosomatic, maybe. So she turned on, we were at the coast and she turned on the fireplace. So she turns on the fire, and usually that gas fireplace, oh wow, it only takes about 5 minutes before I start wheezing and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I did not have an asthma attack there either.
Wow.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
excellent.
It's crazy. So anyway, for those of you, and I think asthma is now about 15% of the people. So yeah, almost one out of every five of you that are listening probably have asthma. And
Hmm.
if it's really bad, boy,
Wow.
it's amazing technology improvement over anything that I've ever seen before. So you have
Cool.
anybody with asthma in your family?
I do not.
Wow, that is really unusual. 'Cause I,
Yeah.
I think we got three in mine. Yeah, wow. So you guys are lucky. Um,
Yeah.
all right. So you've probably heard about these orbital data centers that Elon Musk is trying to do. And you might be thinking to yourself, why is this a good idea?
Well, it's really cold up there, so you get better cooling.
Exactly. It's negative, if you're a space person, you probably already know this, but it's somewhere around negative 426 degrees Fahrenheit, which I think when you get that low, Celsius and Fahrenheit kind of match up. So yeah, over negative 400. That is really cold.
Yes. But my question is, how do I get authorized for service calls?
That's a tough one. You got to wait for the next shuttle to go off. And I don't
Yeah.
think they're making those anymore.
We aren't. No.
No, we are not. All right. So here's how it works is you have to, it's sort of like the International Space Station. The plan is, and again, this is a Musk plan, so who knows if it's going to happen or
Yeah.
when. Um, so you bring it up piece at a time until you get all the pieces in place. And then you start, they're using what's what's called liquid radiators, which I guess you put water or whatever, some sort of a solution in there, and then
Mhm.
the servers heat them all up, and then it passes through the cold of space, and it cools back down again, and so it's this closed loop system, which a lot of data centers now are using instead of the evaporative system, which is much better, even
Yeah.
on planet Earth. So they're going to use the sun to power everything because you don't have to worry about clouds, anything else that's
Right.
really going to be in the way. Although if it's circling around the Earth, it may not always have full access to the sun, like it does when it's.
Sometimes they get far enough away from the Earth that they don't get in the shadow.
Oh, okay, okay. Now, Starlink, which is a Musk company, already has 100 megabit up and down speed, which is way better than, what other companies had done previously. So I have to give
Yeah.
him credit for that, he really did. And finally, he cut off Russia, from being able to use it, so the Russians can't use it to blow up Ukraine anymore. Although Ukraine
That's
can use it to blow up Russia.
well, they got attacked first.
They did, yeah. So the idea is not as crazy as it originally sounded. The only thing is the cost is going to be way, way higher, to start with until these things are paid for. I mean, once they're paid for, then you've got, free cooling, you've got free power. Of course, it's going to be difficult getting back and forth to the thing unless they come up with that tether idea. Have you heard of the
Yeah.
tether idea?
Oh, you mean a space elevator type thing?
Yeah, they put basically it's a rope
Mhm.
from Earth that just shoots up into orbit, and you can use it as an elevator. You can use
Yeah.
it, multiple different ways. You could send stuff back and forth to certain things. I don't
Did you see
even.
what happened though on that Ceres Foundation? It did not end well for them with their space elevator.
Oh, I did not see that. Um, so they're going to have 150. Well, the plan is to have 150 kilowatt solar array, um, a 110. Well, I don't even know what this is. A liquid radiator. Yeah. So anyway, I saw this on spacenews.com in case you're interested. Also noticed that the Chinese space plane. I don't know if you've seen this one, but China has released an object into orbit, into Earth orbit, and nobody knows what it is. So,
Mm.
those of you who are flat earthers, you know, you probably can't comprehend this, but
I
stuff
think
goes
there's
around
probably
the
a
Earth.
yeah, there's
Stuff.
probably a YouTube video that will explain orbits and stuff like that to you if you need some.
Yes, some context, right?
Yeah.
So, a March 2F rocket launched into low Earth orbit um, in the Gobi Desert. Oh, they didn't even do this from China. That's interesting. And they went ahead and launched something in. See, this is one of the problems with um, us getting into space, but us, still having a warlike mentality, is that we're now going to be seeing wars in space, and we're going to see wars
Hmm.
on the moon, and this is, we've barely avoided war. In places like Antarctica, by just basically carving it all up into a pie. But I guarantee you, the United States, China, and whoever else is gets raised up over the years, they're not going to want to carve up the moon. They're
Oh
all
no.
going to want it for themselves. So it's going to be interesting, scary times over the next 50 to 100 years. Are you still going to be here, Scott? I don't know.
I plan on it, yeah.
Really, 50 to 100 years from now. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll
I
just
saw
put.
this little blurb about which diocese does the moon belong to? And historically, it was from wherever the mission launched from to get that land. That's the archdiocese that it belongs to.
Right.
So it's Cape Canaveral.
Oh, interesting.
The Bishop
Okay.
of Cape Canaveral has dominion over the moon.
I had no idea. It's hilarious. Oh, the crazy things we came up with. I mean,
Yep.
that sounds very reasonable if you're
Hmm.
Catholic. Um, I don't know if you heard the Ubisoft co-founder, Claude Guillemot. has died in a plane crash Saturday. So he is not going to
Oh,
be here 50 to 100 years from now or celebrating Mass. Yeah, sad that he passed away and was in a twin motor Cessna with a flight instructor. All right, all you rich guys, you got to stop wanting to be, getting your license to fly airplanes.
mhm.
Let poor people do it. They
It it rarely ends the way you think.
exactly. Look how many people have died in these or almost died
Hmm.
in these things, So, what you got one of the Kennedys that did it. Remember that I think that the window blew out, and then it was, like a compressed air kind of a thing, and so he was already passed out before he even crashed. And so many other people have. This kind of thing happens to you. And rich people think, oh, I've conquered everything. It's time now for me to fly. Pretty
Yep.
soon they're going to want to fly their own spaceships out, to the moon and stuff because they've
Yeah. Look
conquered
at look at
everything.
Bezos.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the boss. I can do whatever I want.
That is exactly right. Um, so when it comes to artificial intelligence programming, one of the new skills that a lot of people need to be aware of if they're interested in getting into this kind of thing as a career is called vibe coding. Now, vibe coding is a skill. I mean, it's not plain English or whatever language you're using like we're using right now. This is a skill on how to properly communicate with artificial intelligence in a way for it to create something or fix something. So I don't know, Scott, have you practiced at all with vibe coding,
I
Claude, or
have
anything like that?
not. It sounds like advanced Googling.
It is. It is kind of advanced Googling. That's true. But it opens things up to people who are not really interested in learning how to program well. But
Mhm.
the problem is that if you create anything using vibe coding, you're probably not creating it very securely. You need to understand Python,
Mhm.
Rust, some other programming languages to understand what it is that your artificial intelligence is doing. Otherwise, you're opening yourself up to, hackers and things like that. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
I just read that a lot of security researchers are saying we are months away from hackers having the skills using AI to basically hack anything they want.
Mm.
So we only have a few months left to protect ourselves from it. Now, it's not an inevitability. I mean, it's still possible to stop this, but we're going to have to put a lot of money into this to keep that from happening. So
Yep.
vibe coding, if you are interested in that kind of thing, you might be interested to hear that the very first vibe coded multiplayer RPG game is open source and free and surprisingly complete. They're getting really
Mm.
good reviews on this game. So you can play it online. You go to mmorpg.com, or, it's like, well, it stands for like massive multiplayer, role-playing game is what it is.
Yep.
Um, so World of Claudecraft. So Claude, if for those of you who may not have heard of this, Claude is one of the open source types of artificial intelligence that's out there. So somebody used that to create this Warcraft classic style micro MMO. They say was vibe coded using Anthropic's Fable 5 model. Now, Anthropic made a mistake. Anthropic accidentally posted all of their code online. Now,
Oops.
it wasn't out there very long, but it was out there long enough for somebody to download it and then create a version of Claude code and open source it. So if you're wondering where Claude came from, it originally came from Anthropic, accidentally posting everything online. So
I mean, some of these errors that these companies make are just astounding. I mean, what
they
did
are.
they give no thought to it whatsoever?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. So, that's how we ended up with this open artificial intelligence that a lot of people are using. Now, Anthropic has, of course, since that time, made their product even better, which makes Claude a little bit, outdated. But it was amazing. I mean, they only had this thing up, I think, for a few hours. Somebody grabbed it and created an open AI version of it, just in that short amount of time.
You had a little AI agent that said, watch this website. If anything ever becomes available, download it, copy it over here, erase all traces of you going in.
Exactly, exactly. All right, so Amazon Prime Day is here, and they've got lots of different deals. Almost all of them seem to be, Apple related, somehow. I mean, there's some that aren't. There's a lot of Echoes out there, um, Amazon Kindles, some drones, things like that. But surprisingly, there's a lot of Apple deals. So if you're an Apple guy, I know you are, Scott. There are a lot of Apple deals out there that you might find interesting, like the Apple Watch SE3. Normally 250 is now 199, which is probably what the
Mhm.
regular price was last year.
Yep, exactly.
Um,
I
yeah.
got a new Apple phone, new iPhone.
Oh, you did? What'd you get?
Yeah, we switched to T-Mobile. I got an iPhone 17.
Oh, they give you a free one?
Yep.
Wow. Well, how do you like it?
So far, it's great. It's the camera goes up to 48 megapixel.
Nice.
So it's faster. I mean, it's running the same OS as my 13 did. So as far as functionality, it's got about the same, but it's so much faster.
My wife did, got an update. Her phone wasn't acting properly, so she's like, "Well, maybe I'll just do the update." So she does the update. They moved everything around.
Hmm.
She hates the update.
Well, so many times in the past, it's like Apple would put out this Mac update, 200 improvements. Well, they moved this button over here,
Oh, that's
that
an
button over
improvement.
there, and yeah, all those improvements are just, there's probably 10 actual improvements.
Right, right. Interesting you say the phone is 48 megapixel. About 10 years ago, I got a Nokia um, phone. It was a Windows phone.
Yep,
I
I
remember those.
remember.
I was really into those Windows phones. I really liked them.
Oh, they were
Um,
great, and Windows promised never to stop doing them.
yeah, I always trust that.
Yep.
Back then, they had come out with a 40 plus. I can't remember exactly how much, a 40 plus megapixel phone, and I'm like, I gotta have that. So my other Windows phone was starting to die on me anyway. I'm like, all right, let's go ahead and do that. So I go ahead and get this thing. And at that time, the cameras weren't as miniature as they are now. So
Mhm.
it had a bump out on it. It was a pretty good bump out.
Oh
It
yeah, I
wasn't.
remember.
You remember seeing that? Yeah.
Yep.
And then I was at Applebee's with my family, and a waitress dropped like the whole plate on it, smashed it to bits. Now Applebee's did pay me back. They did pay me back for it, but that phone was no longer available after that. I mean, I hung on to that phone for way longer than most people would because
I know
the
it was a
camera
nice
and
phone.
yeah.
I got my wife one of the what do they call their little iPod thing?
Oh,
Zune.
oh, the Nano or
The
no, not the.
Zune.
Oh, you're talking about Microsoft's version of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, the
Oh,
Zune. I remember you had that. Yeah, I
it
really
was
liked the
nice.
interface.
Yeah, a good interface. It was nice. My wife loved it. At one point, it just bricked.
Oh,
Couldn't bring it back to life.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but yeah, at one point it just stopped working.
Wow. Well, another interesting thing about Apple is they're releasing their 20th anniversary of the iPhone. Can you believe it's been 20 years? I mean, nobody had the
Wow.
iPhone 1 hardly at all. And if you do, it's worth
No.
a lot of money. So hang on to it.
Yeah. It didn't
But
become useful until it was the iPhone 3, wasn't
yeah.
it?
It was the iPhone 3 is when we first switched over because before that you couldn't get corporate email on it, which
Hmm.
we made jokes about this because we had our radio show going on back then that was, syndicated up and down the West Coast and before podcasting and
Yep.
we were making fun of the the
Hmm.
iPhone because you couldn't do anything with it corporate wise and all these executives were like, "We want the iPhone." Yeah, but it won't work with what you're
Right.
trying to do. So it wasn't until the three that came out, they're like, okay, we'll let you have corporate email and
Hmm.
corporate applications and all that kind of
Didn't we
stuff.
have to get a special license for that too?
Yeah, it was a special license, and it cost $5 a month on top of the regular
Hmm.
of the
Yeah,
regular
I remember it's
fees
an
they were
exchange
paying.
license. The
Yeah.
thing that hit me though is that it handled Exchange email better than a Windows phone handled Exchange email.
It did, but shortly after that, even Apple screwed that up because they ended up, I don't know if you remember this, but they ended up sending all the traffic in both IP version 4 and IP version 6, and it doubled the amount of traffic on the network. And then you have all these people with all these iPhones with double the amount of traffic, and it's brought everything to a slowness.
Oops.
Yeah, it's just because it's Apple doesn't mean it's good.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. What's interesting, I think I told you this before, is I saw the BlackBerry movie, and
I
it's
haven't
on
watched that yet.
Netflix. Oh, it's so good. You got to see it. BlackBerry was so efficient. The guy who invented this was so efficient that it used space in between things. It's like it didn't use up all of the open airways or airwaves. It used airwave space between other airwaves. So you
Mm,
ended up not really using that much bandwidth when you were using the BlackBerry. I mean, really, I mean, to this day, that technology that they created is better than what we're using today when it
yeah.
comes to the amount of bandwidth it was using and how it was doing it. But unfortunately, they made a lot of other mistakes. If you watch that movie, it's free on Netflix, I think, right now. That if you watch that, you'll see they made so many other mistakes that caused it to just tank.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
So one of the guys that was on the BlackBerry team, not the main guy, but one of like his right hand men, he was smart and he sold BlackBerry stock when it was at its peak in the early 2000s. He started seeing, okay, I think this isn't going to last, so he sold it when it was at the top, and he's still today one of the most one of the richest people in the world. And so he is now involved. This is the way I understand it. I could be wrong about this, but he's involved in the remake now of BlackBerry. Now BlackBerry is back. The
Hmm.
stock is about $10 a share. And it's not the old Rim BlackBerry, which, by the way, was named for a stain on their shirt. That's how they got the name BlackBerry. so, but yeah, this guy has recreated BlackBerry, and they're now doing artificial intelligence and other really crazy things. And the stock is starting to go up. I bought into it at about $6, and I made a bunch of money on it. I
Yeah.
sold it. But they're thinking it's still going to keep going up because this guy is just so brilliant.
Mhm.
So anyway, something to keep in mind. I don't own it anymore. I've already sold it, but I might buy back into it again. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, could be worth it.
Yeah, you never know. So Apple is we're going to be releasing their foldable phone. They believe in 2027. And the new AirPods. Now, this I don't understand at all. AirPods are those things you stick in your ears to listen through Bluetooth to the phone, right?
Hmm.
They're going to put cameras in them.
Cameras in your ear.
Cameras in your earpods or AirPods. Again, I don't know what you're gonna call. And they're gonna so you're gonna be able to see
Let me get a
this.
picture of you, Bob.
You're gonna get to see like from the sides, not
Hmm.
the inside of your ear, but from like the side of you. So in case anybody is creeping up on you or something, I don't really
Are
know
they going
why
to
you
stick
would care
out
about
further
that.
so that the cameras aim forward?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Hmm.
I never would have thought of putting cameras in those things.
No.
And that is my final story of the day. You have anything you want to talk about, Scott?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, nothing comes to mind right now.
Nothing comes to mind. Well, it's been an
Yep.
exciting week, and if you get a chance, check out Amazon's leftover days. I mean, Prime days, and see if anything works for you. All right, we've had another fun and exciting All Tech Radio Show podcast. We'll see you again next week.